So, Caroline, I was really wanting to start talking about male dogs to start with,
Yeah.
and really if there's any kind of behavioural benefits of neutering a male dog at all.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me, first of all, and that lovely introduction. It's great to be here and chat about something that a lot of people got lots of questions about. So, yeah, neutering male dogs. I think the first thing to say about neutering and any dog, but we'll stick with the male dog initially, is that lots of people will get a dog. They're quite exuberant, perhaps, jumping up, and some of the sort of behavioural things that can be a bit annoying for people, and they want to calm the dog down. And the perception is that neutering is going to put a stop to all of those behaviours. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Usually, we talk about neutering dogs for the benefit, behaviourally, if the dog is roaming after bitches, if they're losing concentration, perhaps they're a working dog and they're working with bitches that are in tire, and that's kind of interfering with the concentration. If they're mounting, and of course mounting isn't always testosterone driven, there are other behavioural reasons for that. But if they're mounting because they've got the scent of a bitch, and they're kind of the type of dog that wants to run off after the bitches, and they get a scent of it, and that can kind of trigger that behaviour. And so, cocking the leg all over the place. Those are the type of testosterone-driven behaviours that might be quelled with castration. But of course, some of the behavioural aspects, a dog that's maybe jumping up, as I said earlier, a dog that's perhaps behaviourally barking at other dogs, those kind of things. People will sometimes say, well, it'll quieten them down if we have them castrated, and it may not, because behaviourally it may be driven by something else. So often it's better to think about training, managing those behaviours, early training really important, and thinking about that first of all, because if purely, people are purely thinking about castration because it's going to quieten them down, full stop, then that might not be the case. So yeah, neutering a male dog, there are some benefits to doing that, but from a behavioural point of view, it's wrong to kind of think that it's going to solve all the behavioural problems that there are, because it won't, or it's highly unlikely to, other than those things I've pointed out.
So really, it's kind of the sexual behaviour aspect of things then, rather than risk of behaviour.
Those testosterone-driven behaviours. I mean, some dogs that are dog aggressive, which is a really common behaviour problem that people will get in touch with me about. If that target is just male dogs, if all they want to do is kind of show aggression towards other male entire dogs, then possibly that's a reason that we might say, well, okay, it's potentially testosterone driven, but I'd take a full history and look at all the other behaviours before we made that assumption, because of course there's a learning element. So if a dog has been frightened, or there's been a bit of a scuffle with another male dog, it may be a learned association, but that's we would have to kind of explore it, and it's always good to have a behavioural assessment before you kind of make that leap to castration, because once you've castrated, of course there's no coming back from that. But we probably will talk about using the implant that mimics castration. We can chat about that as we go along.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something we can always trial in dogs to see how they respond before we do a permanent castration surgically, because that does wear off with time, and that's a really good thing for us to consider.
Yeah.